what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make an Ender Temple. I've never really made anything End related before, and until console received a brand new update in which we now have access to a whole host of new End related blocks, I've never really been tempted to make anything End related, but now we've got them, I'm going to start making a couple more builds, kind of in the style of this one. If you do want to see more stuff like this, guys, and this is a part of the video where I like to beg for likes, if you do like this sort of stuff, guys, please do like the video. And legend has it that if you do give this video a like, the Ender Dragon will not spawn in your bedroom when you wake up tomorrow. I repeat, the Ender Dragon will definitely not spawn at the end of your bed if you do like this video. Now, I'm not saying he will appear if you don't like it, I'm just saying that you're probably better off just smacking that like button. Of course, the Ender Dragon's probably not going to show up either way. I'd just really appreciate it if you could smash that like button. I would really appreciate it. It helps me out no end. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy my content. Say hello if you subscribe. I try to respond to as many of you as possible. Of course, there's so many of you. I don't always get to say hello to everyone, but please do say hello anyway. And do hit that little bell next to the subscription button, and that will mean that you get all of my videos. However, before we do actually show you how to make this, why don't I show you what we're making? So this is the Ender Temple. It's pretty cool. It's made of a load of pillars and archways formed using, is that end stone? And we also have an Ender portal right at the base of the center of the temple. However, you can't access the portal conventionally. You've got to walk up the sides of the temple, left or right. It's quite symmetrical, and you gain access to the second floor of the temple. Now, you can either drop yourself down into the portal like this, or you can take this route in which you can hop up into the Eye of Ender that we have here on the top of the temple. And inside here we just have a nice little respite room in which we can sleep, we can store all sorts of things. It's something that you might not necessarily see if you are just kind of exploring the temple. You might just miss that as you walk down and look into the really black abyss that is the Ender portal. Oh, and as an added extra, if we were to actually explore the base of the temple, and you can see here on the left, and there's also an equivalent one on the right, there is a hidden passageway in which we can hide all sorts of goodies around the base of the temple. Only your most inquisitive friends would find this, and even then, they might still not find it. That's just a nice little added extra. You can keep some really cool items hidden away where most people really aren't going to find them in this really awesome looking build. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. I think that I should probably show you how to make this now. So if you want to make it, here's what you'll need. Grab yourself some endstone bricks, some purple slabs, some lime hardened clay, some dark oak wood slabs, some dark oak wood stairs, some magenta stained glass, some cyan wool, some green wool, and some lime wool. We'll also need block of iron, end portal frames, and some Eye of Enders. Those should be the only materials that we need. However, I almost always miss something, so we'll just grab the rest of it if there is any more as we need it later on. Now, once you have everything, and once you've figured out where you want to make it, and I will let you know that the Ender Temple will fit into a 15 block by 14 block area. That is 15 blocks going across the front and 14 blocks going towards the back. Now, if you want to make that sort of area in your world, if you want to find a place that it will fit into, then that's fine. If you do that, you then want to come to the very front left-hand corner of your big, giant rectangular shape. You want to take this corner block, you want to move in and find the fifth block to the right. So this is the first block, second, third, fourth, fifth. You then want to move back by 2, 1, 2. And then you want to do a row of 3 ender bricks coming up from the ground. That's 1, 2, and 3. Then do 3 upper right diagonals. That's 1, 2, 3. 3 bottom right diagonals. 1, 2, 3. Connect down to the ground to give you a nice archway shape, and that is how this all begins. Now, once you have your archway shape, you now want to take these rows of 3 that we have right here, you want to upwards and backwards behind each one of the rows of 3, you want to construct rows of 2 ender bricks. Now, this might seem a little bit silly, a little bit unnecessary now. However, that is what you want to do. You want to have your 2 rows of ender bricks like that. Now, take the bottoms of your rows of 3, and we'll start with the very first row of 3 that we made, coming up from the ground, this one. Looking down at the ground and coming backwards, outwards, diagonally from this row, you want to do 2 like upper left diagonals with your end bricks, so like this, 1 and 2. Do you guys see what we're doing here? You then want to take that second brick and you want to move upwards, going towards the back by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then do 3 upper right diagonals, 1, 2, and 3, and then go right by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then do 3 bottom right diagonals, 1, 2, 3, and go down by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then do a bottom left diagonal. You'll end up with this shape right here. It's a very simple shape. Now, once you've got that taken care of, this is what you want to do next. So, you want to take the single end brick block that you have here on the left, you have the end brick here on the left, and the single end brick block that you have here on the right, and you want to do 3 glass coming up from each one of these single blocks. These 1, 2, 3, and you want to do 1, 2, and 3, like that. Then, you want to, on top of the end bricks coming back from each one of these single diagonals, I'll show you, actually, it's easier if we explain it this way. So, this second diagonal that we place coming towards the back, we want to place an end brick on top of it. Then we want to miss a block, place an end brick. Miss a block, place an end brick. Then we want to miss a block, place 1. Miss 1, place 1. Miss a block, place 1. Miss 1, place 1. Miss 1, place 1. Miss 1, place 1. Miss 1, place 1. So you want to end up with kind of like the castle effect, like this. On top of each one of those end bricks, stack 3 additional bricks. So that's 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth, on top of each one of the individual end bricks. You'll end up with a pretty cool looking effect, and you'll see why we're doing this in just a moment. Now, once you've done that, you then want to take these rows of end bricks behind the rows of glass, and you want to do this. You just want to bring each one of those end bricks inwards by 1, like this, to kind of like close off that area. Easy. You then want to do this. You actually want to do rows of glass in between each one of the pillars of end brick. So, in between the pillars of end brick, where you have empty space, you want to do your magenta glass. It makes a lot of difference in adding another color to the temple, and it also adds some transparency, and it generally just looks quite nice, if I do say so myself. Now what you want to do is this. So, on the left hand side and the right hand side of the temple, we want to take these 2 glasses, these 2 center glasses on the left hand side and the right hand side, and you want to place a row of, and you want to place an end brick on top of the left hand glass and the right hand glass, like that. You want to place 1 above them in the center to form kind of like an archway shape. And you want to do the same on the back. So on the back, it's on top of this left-hand glass, this right-hand glass, and 1 above them in the center, like this. Now, at the back, we want a similar deal. So on the back, we also want to place a row of, we want to place 1. Actually, I think we want to go up by 2 on top of these. So on top of these 2 center end bricks, not on top of the glass, you want to go up by 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, like that. Then you want to place 1 end brick above and in the center of that. So you want to have this sort of shape. Now, once you've got that sorted out, we can now focus a little bit on the center of the temple. So, in the center of the temple, right in the center here, first of all, we're going to just have to like change up the floor a little bit. So, going all the way around the edge of the floor here, keeping to the shape of the temple, you want to knock out like the outer row of grass inside of the temple. You kind of want to have this shape. It's kind of like a circular shape like this. So you want to knock out this area, right? You guys can see what we've just knocked out there. you want to place a row of 3 dark oak wood stairs in front of the center free grass. Then you want to build up dark oak wood planks everywhere else. So everywhere else, you want to do dark oak wood planks. Now, unfortunately, I was going to say I don't know what you have. I only have dark oak wood slabs. However, you guys know how to make planks out of those. You quite simply place 2. You double up on the slab. So you want to end up with a shape that should look kind of like this. I always imagine this as like a kind of like a jagged plus shape. It also reminds me of like an old school Pokemon badge. Now what you want to do is this. So inside of this shape, you want to place a row of purple slabs on the grass, just kind of like sat inside of this shape. So you kind of want to have a nice circular shape like this. Then inside of the purple, you want to have a row of lime hardened clay that sits very much like a square shape inside of the purple. You then want to, now this is where it kind of gets tricky to explain. You want to have a row of purple slabs that now sits like above and outside of the lime hardened clay, in the exact same way that the purple sits on the ground, if that makes sense. Now, you guys will see what I'm talking about in just a second, or you might have already seen what we have to do here, but we want the purple to form this sort of shape. So we want like half row down at the bottom, half row up top. So we want to have this. For added effect, now this, it doesn't affect anything because you can't actually see it to my knowledge through the Ender portal. I also place sea lanterns like in the bottom of this. I don't think it makes a difference, to be completely honest, but hey, I like to add stuff like this anyway. And the idea beyond this is that we would then add the end portal frames on top of the lime hardened clay in the right formation that we could crack open an end portal and have it be all the way up front and center. And I do believe that we are just missing the one eye of Ender here, and we will light this portal up in just, well, at the end of the video actually, because we don't want to accidentally fall into it and then have to work our way through the end and respawn and all that fun stuff. So this is what the base of the temple looks like. Easy. Now, once you've got that sorted out, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're going to do next. So, less easy, we now have to make, like, the outer walkway of the temple. So, you want to do this. You want to take your archway. So, this is the archway that we placed right at the beginning, isn't it? You guys remember making this, I'm sure you do. Now, you want to take the bottom blocks of the archway and you want to place a dark oak wood slab coming outwards. Then place an end brick like this coming outwards once again. You then want to do this. So you want to do a row of end bricks that kind of goes all the way around the edge of your temple. It always stays one block away from your temple and it connects to itself all the way round. Now, it's kind of difficult to explain, as you might have gathered, but it wants to end up looking like this. So can you see? It kind of goes all the way around the Ender Temple, and it leaves a space of 1 going all the way around. It connects to the edges, and it kind of forms a shape that should look like this. Now, what we want to do is we now want to build this up a little bit. So, the second end block, or end brick that you placed, you want to place an additional end brick on top of that. And the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. And you want to do the same thing on the other side. So it'll be on this other side, counting in, it's the first brick that you would have placed on this side. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, like that, coming inwards. Actually, on this side, it's not the 8th block. You want to have it even with the left-hand side. I got a little bit confused since, of course, we didn't start on that side, but you want to have that even. And then on top of the other end bricks, you want to add an additional 2 end bricks. I'll show you what I mean. So on top of all of the other end bricks that are left, not at the front, you want to add an additional end brick, if that makes sense. So we kind of want to build up the walls surrounding this until it looks like this. You guys can see exactly what you've got to do, I'm sure. So if it's not apparent now, you'll see it in a second. You kind of want to build up the walls like that. Now what you want to do is you want to, using your dark oak wood slabs, you want to form a walkway all the way up to the top of your ender brick. So to form this walkway, you basically add slabs halfway up, going all the way around, starting from the top until you are in line with your end bricks. So it obviously takes a little while to ramp up, but you want to add half a slab at a time, going all the way up. That's not half a slab. You want to add half a slab at a time until you can kind of like build up, and you can then you're walking around even with the end brick, if that makes sense. So you kind of want to build it up like this, or you can have a much more gradual effect. So you can add it like half a slab at a time if you like, or you can kind of like have it curve around like this so that it's a little bit more covert. The important bit is that you eventually have a row of, I actually quite like that a bit more. The most important part is that you eventually have like a row of dark oak wood that you can walk around the top of your temple with. So how that gets formed, it doesn't really matter. All that matters is that you kind of like reach the top as I'm doing now. So you just want to have something which should look like that, and more so if we complete this, it now just wants to like work its way around the top of the temple, and you can actually walk around it, or at least that's the general plan here. So we're just going to add this, this, and this, so it's all nice and even like that. So once you've got that sorted out, this is what we want to do next. So you might have noticed, right above the center of the top of the temple, we have a giant Eye of Ender. It's pretty difficult to miss. Let's make that next. So, coming in from the left and the right of the temple, we want to take the top ender bricks on the left and right, and we want to do an inwards, upwards diagonal with our ender bricks. So we want to have something which should look like that. We then want to place a cyan wall coming in from each one of the ender bricks like that. We then want to do a row of cyan that connects the left hand side of the temple to the right hand side, and it wants to be below, and it doesn't want to connect, so it wants to be like a diagonal hovering row. On top of the single cyan walls, we want to place 1 and 2 additional cyans, 1 and 2. We then want to do 2 inwards, upwards diagonals from each one of those second cyans, so that's 1 and that'll be 2. And then we want the same 1 and 2, connect them together at the top. And this is what the Eye of Ender will kind of look like. We now want to add a layer of cyan in front of this, and we want to add a layer of cyan behind this. So add a layer of cyan in front of this cyan, and add a layer of cyan behind this. So you want to have this sort of shape. Now I'm going to very quickly grab the block of iron, and I'm going to place in front of this is the front of the Eye of Ender, right? I'm going to take the very bottom center cyan, and I'm going to place a green wool in front of this block. Right of it, I'm going to place a block of iron. Left of it, another cyan. On top of the green wool, I'm going to go up by 2. 1, 2. I'm going to extend that second block left and right by 2. On top of the block that I extended, I'm going to go up by 1 and 2. I'm then going to go left by 1 with the block of iron. I'm going to go right with the cyan. Then I'm going to place underneath the iron and the cyan a lime wall. And at the bottom, I'm going to place on top of this iron a lime wall. And on top of this cyan at the bottom, I'm going to place another lime wall. I'm going to place a row of 3 cyan wool on the left of the eye and a row of 3 cyan on the right of the eye, like that. That is the eye mostly complete. If we come to the back, what we want to do is we actually want to do the exact same thing on the back. So on the back here is really easy because we'll take the bottom center cyan block, we'll place our dark green wool. And on the left-hand side, we'll place a block of iron, and on the right-hand side, we'll place a cyan. Then, you can look directly forward, and you can just copy what you did on the front of your Eye of Ender. Because you can literally, see, right there, you can copy block for block what you did on the front from that point. So, it's very, very easy. From that point onwards, you can just copy what you did on the front and transfer it to the back. So you want to have something which should look like this. Oh, and also on the back, we do want to connect it. So we'll take this top center ender block, and we actually want to place a row of 2 ender bricks coming upwards, connecting to the top of the Eye of Ender diagonally, like so. Very easy. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to add, I think, the glass. Yeah, this isn't great. We're going to take the magenta stained glass, right? And we're going to kind of fill in the top of this. So, this is actually kind of difficult to do. But if you start on the front, you want to add in magenta glass. And it's kind of difficult for me to, block for block. For you to block for block copy this, but we want to place magenta glass in such a way that we don't have that much glass. We basically want to cover in this empty space that we have, and we just want to do it using the least amount of glass that we can possibly get away with. So kind of like this. You can see that this left-hand side is now completely filled in, and you want to achieve the same sort of effect on the right. Now, there's different ways to do this. There's different ways in which you can place the glass to make it so that this thing is airtight, but use as little as possible, and don't double up on glass. If you can just place one glass block, try not to place them behind each other. You want to have as much space as you can, and you just want to make the thing airtight, is the best way that I can phrase this. You just want to make this airtight. That's all you want to do. You don't want to place any blocks. You don't want any wastage. You just want to place glass until it's filled in. Basically, you just want it to be filled in. I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but it's so difficult for me to explain, and I hate when I can't explain things using words. I hate when I have to kind of just be copy me. But you just do it like this. So just fill in the area. Try and make sure that both sides are the same. It's really hard because everything's glass, but you just want the thing to be airtight, as I've said. Now, you do also want to be able to access the back of your Ender Temple. So you want to make sure that you can actually walk out into the center of the temple from the back. And we also have to place a platform in which we can stand on and all that sort of fun stuff. So this platform, we will put this platform here. So the platform is going to be here, right? And we're going to make it out of dark oak wood slabs. So this platform is basically placed so that we can walk 2 blocks around the inside of the top of our temple. So this is what the purpose of the platform is for. We just want to be able to walk inside the top of the temple. That's it. I don't know what else to tell you. That is the entire purpose of this. So you want to be able to walk 2 blocks inside the temple. You also want to be able to access the portal. So you're going to want to have a platform in which you can walk up from the back. So maybe you want to have a glass here. You want to leave that glass alone. But you do want to be able to step up inside of the top here and also drop down into the portal at will. So you're going to want to also create a way in which you can kind of just like walk down and drop into the portal, preferably the center of the portal. But you also want to be able to access the Eye of Ender, or at least, I mean, I would want to, because it's kind of cool. So the way that I would do it is I would knock out the block directly behind the bottom front center green block. I'd place a cyan wall directly underneath it, and then I would place a ladder coming up from this block that would lead you inside of the eye. So it might take you, there we go. So you've got to jump on it in a specific way, and that will allow you to place all sorts of cool stuff inside the eye and have a hidden secret room. Now that isn't the only hidden secret room that you might want to place, and by the way, I have just thought about this. I'll go delete a grass here so you can walk in and out. Before I show you another way to kind of like customize the temple, have hidden rooms, on the sides of the temple, you want to do this. So where you have this glass here, kind of like in the center of all of the ender bricks, you want to place an ender brick coming out from the glass, and then you want to do a diagonal from the ender brick and connect downwards to the side of the temple to form kind of like a column which you can walk underneath. And the same thing on the other side here. So you want to place, I want to place a glass in there first, then an end brick coming outwards, and then outwards again and down to connect to the bottom of the temple. You can even have a similar thing on the back if you so chose. You could have a similar thing on the back, no problem. If you wanted to, if you kind of wanted to keep things like that all symmetrical. There we go. Now that's the structure of the temple complete, unless of course you account for the fact that you can now delete the grass at the start here, and you can also then like texture the floor a little bit. So you could add some stairs in to the sides. You could add some oak wood slabs in just to kind of like layer it a little bit better. If you come inside the temple, you'll notice that you have a lot of space underneath all of these stairs. You can utilize this space to hide things inside here. Like if you wanted to hide something just underneath these steps, then you could very easily have like a nice hidden chest underneath the stairs, and it's very, very hidden. I don't know how many people would actually plan on like entering the Ender Temple, but it could just be a nice little Easter egg for you to have something hidden underneath the stairs, and maybe even like a chest right at the back here. I don't know, it's just a thought, it's completely up to you. Oh my god guys, I was just about to end this tutorial, but we forgot one very important thing. We haven't lit up the portals, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna... and now we have a fantastic Ender portal in which we have access to it. You can't access it down below because there's not enough headroom, but if you come up to the second floor, you can easily drop down into the end, and you can defeat the Ender Dragon, or you can hang around in the end, or you could explore the cities down there. The possibilities are endless. Can't believe that I almost forgot that. The possibilities are endless. Epic joke. Anyway guys, that is the tutorial 100% fully complete. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. This is a lot different from what I would usually make, so I'd really appreciate it if you could smack that like button. I really would. Please smack that like button like it's a bop it. That's all I'm gonna say. If you do like the video, please subscribe to the channel. You'll probably enjoy the content. If you sub, you should really say hello. I'd like to greet you to the channel. I try to say hello to everybody. Obviously, sometimes I miss somebody, but I try my best, I really do, to say hello to everybody who subscribes to the channel. Also, do click the little bell next to the subscription button, and that will mean that you get every single one of my videos sent directly to your sub box, because otherwise that doesn't happen. Suggest down below what you would like to see content-wise in the future. And also, if you do want to see more of my stuff, please do check out the comment system in the description below, and you'll find loads of playlists down there. So, just as an example, you could work into my Improving a Village playlist. So this is actually a villager village. It doesn't look that much like one at the moment, because we are in the process of upgrading them. So this is a village church. It used to be a boring church, but we made it better. Same thing for the villager house. Same thing for the blacksmith, and I have now added an ender temple to the village, because I thought that it lacked one, to be completely honest with you. So, if you wanted to learn how to make a village nicer, then do hit up that playlist. But that's not all we do around here. Sometimes we do stuff like this. This is my public park. Yeah, we have a lot of stuff in here. So if you wanted to make any of this, you'd head into my Park Builds playlist, and there will be a tutorial for literally everything that you see in the park, except for that panda hybrid koala fighting the Ender Dragon. That will not be included in the playlist, although I might just add it anyway. But everything else, the playground, the golden apple, the skate park, the public pool, the bouncy castle, the tennis court, everything will be in the Park Builds playlist, even including a few of the houses that we've built here as well, because I thought that they kind of fit in, like the Ultimate Survival House, the Hobbit Hole, the Ultimate Survival House number 2, and the Eco House, all of these things. But if none of that stuff was your jam, then you could come all the way to my Real World Buildings playlist, or as better known now, my City Builds playlist, and you could learn how to start building a really cool city. And this, by the way, is going to start getting bigger, because I am working on more city-related builds. But even down there, we have train stations, supermarkets, petrol stations, townhouses, barbershops. We have music shops. We have all sorts of fast food restaurants down there, including Wendy's, cafes, pet shops, all sorts. You name it, we have it. Even a church in this wonderful city with a graveyard. If none of that stuff is kind of your thing, then we also build a lot of houses around here. We have no shortage of houses to show you in this world, and believe it or not, I've made hundreds and hundreds of houses. This is just a small amount of them right here. Like, we build them in all sorts of different styles. Like, this is a modern mansion. This is my own house. This is kind of like a British-looking house. This is like a Christmas house. Obviously, it's no longer Christmas. We have a suburban-style house. We have a modern house. We have, again, like another suburban house. And a modern. And another suburban. And